Hey everyone, welcome to my miniverse. In this video, I'm going to be painting these two little Lizardfolk minis that I found on Thingiverse. They're probably not going to show up too well on this camera, but there's better footage later. Um, these are pretty badass, and I pulled them off my printer just a few hours before our game that I wanted to use them in that night. And so I had to kind of speed paint them. I didn't really have the time to take my time. Which was just kind of a first for me. Well, it is a first for me. I've only painted like a handful of minis before this, so um, I did manage to get footage of it, of most of it, and that's the video we have today. So I won't hold you guys up any longer. So let's just get after it. All right, I've got a couple of these Lizardfolk. I printed them off last night. Got them all cured in the sun today and cleaned up. I am hoping to get these guys painted and ready to go on the table for tonight's game. I don't know, man. They got a lot of detail, especially this guy. He's got that skull on his shoulder, all the rippled abs and everything. We'll see. This guy's not too bad. A lot of wrinkles in his cape, but I think we can do it. So it's like 12:30 right now, and my players will be here at like 6:30, so I got like 6 hours, but I still have to prep too. So anyway, let's get at it. I'm going to use this here, these clippers. They're curved, but I kind of like that. A lot of people say don't use it. Don't use curved, get the straight ones, but these work fine for me. Just going to clean up these supports. This guy just had a couple. Clean it off the base. Yeah, they're really brittle right now because I set them in the sun for a few minutes to let them finish curing. You usually take all this stuff off before they finish curing, and it's not quite as brittle. But we'll be all right. We'll get them done. All right. Little X-Acto knife action for those little bits. See if I can clean this up with it. I might need to get the file out. That's pretty good. Yeah, and I poked myself, which happens. A little bit on its hand there. There we go. Under his arm. Clean up pretty good. Yeah, I was messing around last night before I went to bed on Thingiverse. I found these guys. Thought they'd make a good addition to our adventure tonight. So I printed them off. I don't know if I'm going to get them done. I'll get them at least partially done. They're not going to win any tournaments, but been good enough to play with. Yeah, see these. I want to be real careful not to break his little fingers off. He's got a lot of details on his claws and stuff. Really don't want to. That's pretty good. Trim. He's got all the detail on his base too. There we go. Get rid of this little stump. And this little loincloth there is free floating too, so I had to put some supports down in the middle there. There we go. you'll have to excuse my 3D printer over here too. It's going again for next week's game. Printing some minis so that I'm not so short on time next week. It'll be okay though. We'll get them done up. A bunch of pirates. You could probably guess we're doing a salt marsh campaign. So, alright. Let's see. It's looking pretty good. A little ball in the middle down there. Get that guy out of there. Man, he's just got all sorts of stuff on it. I think that'll just about do. Alright, now I got to get these primed. I'm going to go ahead and I just hot glue them down to some little stumps that I have. But, so when we prime them up, you guys can go ahead and time travel, and we'll see you in a second. Alright, all nice and dry. I went ahead and gave them a black base prime, and then I tried this zenithal priming. I don't know if I didn't do it right. I think the primer I got's just not the right stuff. The black, I used this Army Painter black primer. And for the white primer, this is all they had at the hardware store. I probably should just get some stuff made for minis. That's probably what went wrong. But I don't think it'll be too big of a problem. It's kind of too much, too blotchy, not a fine enough spray. But anyway, let's get busy here. I'm going to start blocking out. I'm going to start with this green skin. And let's see. I got to pick out a brush. Let me see. I think I'm going to use this brush. Fire in me number 1 round. There you go. So I got my wet palette right over here. I need to get like a palette cam or something. Anyway, green skin. And I'm going to make sure that's just a little bit wet. And I'm going to go over all the skin. Just starting at the top, I'm going to work down, just blocking everything out. And then we'll come back through and highlight and wash and all that stuff later. Can't tell if that white that I put on there is going to leave a texture or not. Couldn't really feel it, but we won't really know until we do some dry brushing toward the end. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. I think on these Lizardfolk, though, I think a little rough skin be all right. Especially this guy. He looks like he had a rough life, man. I'm sure he dished out just as much as he took. Pretty brutal looking little mini. I doubt I'll do it any justice with my paint job, but I don't know. He'll serve a role tonight. Come on. That jawline. There we go. Yeah. this guy's just full of detail. There's muscles everywhere. Try not to get too much on that skull because I'm going to try to paint it up pretty nice. Kind of a focal point. Do want to get all these little spiky bits though. I could have used a bigger brush. It's alright. I know if I use a little brush, I'll work slow and make sure I get all the detailed parts and don't miss anything. At least I hope so. That's the plan. Oh yeah. Really digging this mini. I gotta look up who did this, make sure they get their props. Who did the modeling for it. That's pretty nice. Probably put it down in the description, I'm sure. If I get some time in between painting these, so letting them dry or whatever, then I'll go ahead and give them a verbal shout out. Sorry, my hat bumped the camera. I gotta get used to filming all the time anyway. So that's another lesson learned. Get the underside of his arm here. This dude's all muscle, man. Crazy. All the neck parts. Got some kind of adornment on his chest, but it doesn't connect to anything. So I think it's just right down in the skin. Try to jazz that up later. See if we can make it pop. As they say, make it pop. I don't see a belt or anything on here. It looks like he just tied a piece of cloth around his waist. Which, judging by the rest of the mini, that's probably fitting his personality. Get up in here. I have it a little too thin. I don't know. I can't ever figure out what's too thin and what's not. It's alright. We'll just keep painting. I'm going to use the magic of the wash. Straighten everything out in the end. I think as long as I don't get anything too gloopy, wash out the details, then we should be okay. Kind of liking the way that primer is looking underneath there. I don't know how well it's going to focus, but it's kind of neat. Make sure I get his whole little hand there. fingers all the way around. And it's going to be hard to get those claws. I'll try to get them. Might bust out the magnifying glass, we'll see. And this is all just straight lizard leg. No, maybe not. Looks like that cloth comes all the way down. Shit. See if I can get some of that off before it dries. Yep, sure enough. Just comes up right there. Okay. That's not bad. I didn't fuck it up too bad. Looks like he's standing in mud. His feet are pretty much gone. Well, so he's got that foot. This foot's pretty much gone in the muck. Alright. Man, I don't know if this camera's focusing. I got kind of a weird angle on it. Get his tail. Better get up underneath, man. A couple of my players tonight, they paint their own minis, and they're a lot better than I am. So I know if I miss something, they'll find it. Alright, yeah. Looking pretty good. I don't know if I want to give him another coat of this yet or not. We'll see how it looks when it dries, I guess. And go from there. Doesn't seem to be quite covering everything I want it to. Maybe I'll take a different shade of green over it for the second coat. Let's see, where does it? Oh, he's got a chain. I wonder if that's what that is over here, too. Yeah. Fuck, I don't know. There's too much tiny detail in there. Alright, we'll get them all. Oh, it's a little too thin. I didn't want a green wash. This is all leg, I know. It's got that little chain attached, and then I think it's just leg up here above that. So that's what we're going with. That's what it is now. It does have that cloth tied around, but we'll get back to that later. Yeah, some of these are going to get another coat of this. At least like an overbrush, maybe. So they're looking kind of thin. Some of that looks really good, though, man. This mini's insane. Kind of proud of my printer, though, for printing it out. It's just a photon. One of the cheapest ones you can get, cheapest resin ones you can get. happy with it though. Oh, he's wandered over there. He's just about finished with his green coat. Yeah, a little bit on his back there. Right up the side. Nice little armpit. Didn't get primed. Those naughty bits. Yeah, that's too thin back here. All right, we'll go back over it. I want to put some yellow in here, like on his belly and his chest. I don't know if I want to hit anything else up with that, though. We'll see. See when we get there. This little foot. Alright, I think he's looking pretty good. Just for that blocking out of the green. I think we'll, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and hit this grass while we're in here. While we got green on the brush. I'm definitely going to make it a different shade in the end. But for right now, go ahead and give it at least one coat of some kind of green. I want to make sure it's a little bit different when we finish. Just so it's, you know, just so it doesn't, so it contrasts a little bit with the character. Jeez. Where it gets to kind of guesswork down in the, can't see anything. Well, my players will notice though, if I see anything off in there. Just do my best. A little more water and try to get a thin something in there. There we go. I think that's okay. All right. This little tuft of grass in the front. All the way around, all the little leaves. Just painted the snail. Alright, I haven't really even decided what this guy's gonna be in the game. Kind of decided his role. He's basically there to scare the crap out of the party. Not supposed to be a combat encounter, but it may end up being that. So I want to make sure I get some stats for him. I was thinking barbarian. I mean, look at him. But he does have that snail there, so maybe a druid also? Maybe? I don't know. I'll come up with that later. But that's, I think I got about all the green done. Yeah, he's looking good. Let's switch over to this guy while we still have green on the brush. He doesn't have a lot of skin showing, but he's got enough where I want to block it out. So, his little face first. ahead and hit the whole thing. He's got some details in there, but I don't think this little bit of green paint's going to mess anything up. As far as, making it too gloopy and losing detail. A little bit of neck showing down there. Paint it all over the cloak. It's okay. Fix that later. Alright. Nice green face. Pretty good. And his arms, I think that's the only other skin he's got showing. For a book nerd, he's got some pretty robust arm musculature. Guess he is a lizard folk. And it's really fun watching them come to life like this. I really enjoy it. I think that crappy priming job is actually going to look pretty good. A little too early to say for sure, but I think it'll be alright. As if I haven't said that enough. It's okay. Alright. A little gloopy. A little gloopy on the book. Alright. Make sure I get that seam real good. And under the arm, can't forget that. And hit the underarm on the other side to make sure it goes all the way around. Alright. Not unhappy with that. I'll get this arm over here. I think this is probably the easiest part of this whole paint job for both of these. This one arm right here. Make sure I get his palm. I think I'm going to try to do a little yellow in the palm there later on, blend it in. I think that'd be a good spot for it. Sure, get his deltoid there. That's pretty good. I'm getting better getting them seams. Well, as soon as I say that, find where I went over. Alright, I think that's probably all the green that we need on him. Oh, no. Didn't get his face real well. Yeah, not this side either. There we go. I want to make sure that that green's going to show down there. Alright, let's let him dry and we'll come back to this guy. There's several spots that I think there's too much primer showing through. And if I'm going to go through the trouble giving this guy a second coat, then I think I'm going to go ahead and switch. I got some of these D&D paints that they're Army Painter paints with Treant Green. I think I'm going to try some of that. Give that a good shake. Get a little bit on the wet palette over here. I don't know how much different it's actually going to be from the green skin, but oh yeah, it's much lighter. Alright, let's get a little bit of that on the brush, a little water. Treant Green, let's see what happens. Okay, that's not bad. Maybe I'll just do a bit of an overbrush. Get some of those under parts, you know, the lighter skinned parts that I'm going to paint yellow. Hell, I'll just go back over the whole thing. The thin coat. There we go. Gotta have that variation, right? Didn't get up in here very good last time. Alright. In between the fingers, man, those teeny tiny spaces. I don't want to get one of the smaller brushes out yet. I'll be here for a day and a half. Just tweaking the tiniest every little detail. I get so carried away with that sometimes. And I'm still not very good. That's alright though. Try to get these done for tonight. Keep that in mind. Get these done for tonight. Still don't want them to look like garbage though. So I'll do my best. Still got plenty of time. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. A little bit of variation in the green. I think it's looking pretty good without even being very careful. So keep this new stuff a little bit thin. Try to keep it on the ridges, kind of overbrush a little. Yeah. Not looking too bad. Make sure to get all them inside pieces. Nice tail. The tail's actually in the way. I could paint this a lot better if he didn't have it. But he would not look nearly as cool without that big strong tail. And it was kind of nice that it was attached to the base because I didn't have to put supports in there. Printed just fine. It's always nice. I don't know if you've ever added supports to anything and 3D printed anything, but it's always nice when you don't have to put supports in. Alright, camera's about to die. I'm going to go ahead and stop here. We'll come back in a minute. Alright, so I'm just going to switch back to this guy with the tree and green. Go over all of his green with the kind of watered down treant green. Get a little better shade in there and get the primer covered up a little better. Get some variation. Oof. Doesn't look so good on him. I guess he doesn't have all that detail, so it's going to come out a little different. But I don't know. I think it'll be all right. I think it'll look good too. Really want to make sure that all the highlights are well covered. The primer is well covered on all the highlighted areas. So I know I'm going to rely on the washes a lot to bring some pop and character. So the highlights, I guess I'm going to be dry brushing too anyway, probably. Time allows. Alright, now these look pretty good. Kind of like that speckled cloak look though. It's pretty neat. It's going to be red though later. We'll come back to this guy. He's not dry yet. Don't want to start with the next color until he's dry. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. We'll be right back. Alright, missed a little bit. I started blocking out red. I'm going to do red for this loincloth and red for the robes on the other guy. Bookworm. Just using this Dragonfire Red from D&D Army Painter made, whatever. Got a little bit on my wet palette, just watering it down just a little bit. And make sure I get everything pretty well covered. A little too much water. Some really deep crevices in here with all this detail. This guy really went all out. Or all in, however you want to see it. I think it looks pretty good. It's almost like blood. Guess we'll really see when it dries though. Yep, see, I got some on his leg. That's no good. See if I can get that off of there. Yeah. I got a little bit in there. Well, hopefully the wash will cover that up. It should. It's a really tiny spot. I'm not putting this on very thick at all either. At least I'm trying not to. You know what? I'm going to switch. I'm going to come over to this robe because I think I need a smaller brush for that other one because I keep making mistakes. So go ahead and just start blocking this one out. I got too much water on my palette. Ooh. Man. All right. Let's see. Yeah, this belt goes up above. Get a little bit of red down in there. This is looking like a red wash. That's not going to do too much water. I'm trying to soak some of that off of there. Hardly any red paint in there at all. I'll put a little bit more somewhere else. I got a big puddle of water right in the middle of my palette, like an idiot. Alright, let's try this again. There we go, it's a little better. It's still a little wet on the mini. It's okay. I should make sure it doesn't gloop up in the crevices and probably just come back and give it another coat here in a little bit. A little bit of boot showing there. I did come back also while the camera was off. He's got a little bit of tail sticking out from under his cloak there, and I went ahead and painted that green. With the green skin first, and then I actually tried to wet blend a little bit with the Treant green. I'm not sure if I convincingly did that or not, but it happened off camera, so there's no record. It looks pretty good, I think. I think it'll be all right. It'll be all right at the end. Like I said, it'll play, so that's what matters. It's kind of cool how you can see under the fold in the cloak there, you can see the tail coming through. It's a nice touch. I think, yeah, that is cloak right there, not a foot. So it comes up here, his little foot sticks out right there. But it looks like from here, it looks like he's wearing boots. So those are going to be brown when we get to brown. So I didn't bother going green on those. I don't think I've ever really thought of a Lizardfolk wearing boots before, but he's obviously an eccentric Lizardfolk, so he's going to be wearing boots. Oh, look at that. I pulled that off without a smaller brush. Not too shabby. There's big areas of red. I think this belt is going to be black. Then I'll do the bags in brown. And I think the little clasp on the belt there, I think it's going to be gold. I don't really have a gold metallic paint, except for I got the one at the dollar store, Dollar General, for $1. So I'm going to try that out and see if it does. See how it does. I think it'll be okay. Just little accents, it should be all right. Come on. You got to get paint on the brush or it doesn't work. There we go. It's coming to life. I mean, my paint job could definitely be better. But we are just getting started, so a lot of fixes, washes, and dry brushing maybe that can happen to try to fix it, make it look better. Make it look like I kind of knew what I was doing at least. Instead of just rubbing paint around on a piece of plastic, which is really all I'm doing. It's all guesswork. Well, 99% guesswork for me right now. But that's all right. We'll get there. I don't think it looks too bad. Maybe another coat of this before we move on to washes and whatnot. Fancy stuff. It's one of the first tips I got when I went to start painting was use really thin coats and do lots of layers. And then you watch a bunch of YouTube videos, and like almost nobody's doing that. So I don't know. Just gonna try my own way. That's one of the problems with watching too many YouTube videos. Kind of lose track of the fact that you can do whatever the hell you want. You know, it's your artwork. Let's go for it. As long as it's convincing to your group, people you share it with, as long as they think it adds something and brings something extra to the table, you can't go wrong. There we go. Yeah, that second coat's making a lot of difference. Should probably finish that first coat first, though, before we move to the second coat. Looks like the base on this guy is actually supposed to be rock or brick, some kind of stone. I was just gonna put some mud in there, but I might try to paint that stone first, see if I can pull it off. All right, let's get his top half. no shortage of detail on this guy. Not nearly as detailed as the other one, but still got a lot going on. Alright, let's see if I can get that seam. That's not bad. I think I nailed it. Well, most of it. I got a little bit more. There we go. 2 or 3 more times doing that. I'm not sure what color to paint them things on his chest. Like ties or clasps or whatever holding it together, these things. Definitely need some other kind of detail on them. Or other kind of color. I don't think it'll look very good if I just leave them red. Get red on his arm. Damn it. It's okay. Come back and fix it. Actually, I should probably do that right now before I forget about it. Clean out this here brush. Hopefully before it's dry, we can... Yeah. That's pretty good. Gets good enough that the wash will cover it. Finish up this torso. I think I'm taking too long. Hurry up a little. It's easy to get bogged down in all the detail and forget that you're trying to finish it. Especially since I'm trying to get it ready for tonight. What happened? Yeah, I shouldn't have thinned it to begin with. It's okay. Yes, thank you, computer. My laptop just updated, so I wanted to make sure that I knew what was going on. Get that little red off his face. It doesn't belong there. Yeah. Doesn't belong in his nose either, but that's definitely going to be washed out. So no sense in trying to go after that right now. I need to make sure I get that whole hood though. It's looking pretty good, I think. My camera might be too far away. Hold her a little closer. Tend to wander a little bit while I'm painting. Still trying to get used to making sure everything gets filmed properly. I know I wandered off camera a little earlier. Thanks for sticking with me, for those of you who made it this far. All right. Nice, nice. Yeah. This guy's looking pretty good, man. Glad I went with the red. I was going to go black. I feel like that would have not done it justice. And I kind of wanted to tie these two together from the same tribe, so I figured the red clothing was probably a better idea than, than some generic black or brown. Give them some kind of culture. Culture of their own. Lizardfolk. Lizardfolk culture. So this red is probably blood. Probably used blood to dye it. At least that makes sense in my mind for lizardfolk culture. Of course, if they did use blood, it would be more of a rust color, not brown. But whatever. Not going to get that in depth with it. Again, got to remind myself it's got to be on the table tonight, here in a few hours. Keep on moving, keep on moving. Yeah. I don't like what I did with the back here. Messed up, big blob of harsh red next to a bunch of watered down red. Try to blend that in a little better. All right, getting there, getting there. Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. And then we'll come back to this guy. Wash this brush out, and I'm going to go with the smaller brush. Try to get all those little details. Alright, set this one aside. I'm going to need more paint on the palette. Do that. Another drop of that. Dragonfire red. And pick out a smaller brush. This is a teeny tiny brush. 4.0 round. If it'll focus, probably not. Anyway, it's a 4.0 round. I don't think I'm going to water it down much at all. I got the brush wet, then picked up paint and see it's still too much. Too watered down. I gotta get this little roll. I don't know if you can see this little roll of fabric right here. Right on the seam, crease, whatever, between the two colors. A roll of fabric. Alright, not bad, not bad. Nice. I don't think I got any on his belly. Right. Pretty good. Gotta get it to go all the way around now. why I picked such a detailed mini. Yeah, I do. It looked really cool. So just hope I can actually do it some justice. Oh man. Such tight details, and I messed it up. Got some red on the green. See if I can quickly go back and get it off of there. There. Yeah. There we go. That's okay. Close enough for the wash to fix, I think. Hope. And this is super tight in there. I don't know if I can. Alright. Yeah, there we go. That's all supposed to be red in there. So. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be cloth. I don't think it's supposed to be red. I didn't see this guy painted. I couldn't say what's supposed to be what. Anyways, it's my fan art, my print, so it's supposed to be whatever color I paint it. That's how it's supposed to be. It's got some kind of clasp there, and I think I'm going to use that gold from the dollar store to paint it here in a little bit. Well, one of the last details that I paint. So I think it's okay if I go over it with red first, because that's really tight under his arm there. Probably a good idea to have a base color under it anyway. Oh, yeah, I just noticed his little muscles. It's actually his muscles showing through instead of just wrinkles in the cloth. That's pretty neat. Come on, there we go. Oh yeah. Looks like it's tied up in the back here. Try to get all that on her sword. Probably could have pulled him into Blender and cut his arm off, but that's too much time. Maybe if I do him again, where I can take my time, maybe I'll do that. That's super tight there, the way he's leaning back. That's all right. I think I got it. I nailed it pretty good. And a little more on the side there. There we go. Make sure we got that little roll. Yep. All right. All right. A little bit more. I'm going to water it down just a hair. There's some creases in here. It doesn't seem to be getting down into. There we go. Yeah, I'm liking that, man. It's looking pretty good. I better finish the front here. Make sure the whole thing gets good base coat. Oh man, I gotta paint the underside of this thing too. All right, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll get it done. Power through. Yeah. Man, if I manage to have enough time to do this guy right, it's gonna be looking pretty gnarly. All right, let's see if we can get the underside of this loincloth. without painting everything else red. Not too bad. I can't see. Got his leg. Quickly rinse the brush. And I've usually got another brush here that's just clean and wet. I should probably do that. Like an eraser brush. Yeah, I should probably get that. Let me use this one, bigger one that I was using. Yeah, it's nice and clean. There we go. Get off there, Red. All right, cool. All right, I think I'm definitely gonna do that. Keep this guy here, keep it wet. Especially doing stuff like this. Oh, on the way up inside there. All right. Still looking pretty good though. I'm pretty happy with it. All right. Okay, got all that in there. Oh, nope. A little bit right there. I don't know. You probably can't see it on the camera, but it's way down in there. All right. A little bit more. A couple spots there. All right. Well, and this little fold up underneath here, I didn't get. Make sure I get the bottom. They'll freaking notice, man. I don't know how. I can't even see it, but they'll notice. Not like they're hypercritical or anything, but, you know. I'll do my best for them. I mean, they're coming out to my house, letting me create a world and challenge them. So, I mean, the least I can do as a DM, do my best to make it worth their effort, their time investment. I'm not saying I'm the best DM in the world, but try to make things enjoyable for them. Wow. All right. Set him aside, let him dry a little bit. Rinse this brush out. I'm going to come back to that larger brush, the size 1. And same Dragonfire Red. I'm going to do another coat over this cloak. As you can see, there's some spots missing in there that I'm not happy with. So go ahead and put another coat all over it. And then we'll come back to the barbarian with his loincloth. Hit him with the second coat where it's needed. Ah, jeez, come on. There we go. And we'll move on to some other colors. I think brown is probably going to be the next most prominent color. Hit all these guys' bags, his little foot. All right, so my camera isn't really wanting to cooperate, so cut out on me. Since I'm in kind of a time crunch, I wanted to just go ahead and move on. I got both of these guys. Second coat done on the red, and we're just going to move right along. I think the next biggest areas are going to be brown. So I've got this Bugbear Brown, Army Painter D&D brand. And I'm going to go ahead and use that slightly bigger brush that I've been using. A little of the brown on the wet palette. This one, it's a size 1 brush. I think that's the size number. I don't know. It says 1 on it, so that's the one I'm using. Make sure all the red is out of it. Just a dot of water in with the brown. And we'll do the brown on this guy first. I'm gonna start on this, the horns on the skull here. And get them all painted in. Cover up all the green I got on it. There we go. This guy, also most of his base I think is going to be brown, so I'm going to go ahead and load up this brush. Hit all this stuff. Careful around his toes. Get in between them, not on top of them. And all this mud looking stuff. It does look like there's some wood under there he's standing on. So hopefully that'll come out later. Actually, that little, I don't know if you can see it real well. There's a little indent right there. And I'm going to fill that in with some sterling mud later. And then the rest of this is wood, which I think this bugbear brown on it will be fine. Hopefully I'll have time a little later when I'm doing the other embellishments to go ahead and give this a little variation so that it doesn't look like all the other brown things. Again, another little crevice there that's going to get some sterling mud later. And then there's this little snail right there. I'm just going to get his shell with this brown. And he's sitting like on top of a skeleton, part of a skeleton. And that's going to be white. So hopefully there'll be enough of a contrast in between there so that it doesn't look all washed out. Alright, that's not bad. I think up front here I'm just going to throw some sterling mud on it anyway. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and hit these little clasps he's got going on with the brown. I'm going to come back and do a metallic gold paint on there. There's another clasp in there somewhere, maybe. I don't know. I know there's one on this side. Sure. I think behind his arm, I think is the best way to get up in there. Oh, there we go. Got it on his arm though. So we'll go ahead and get a wet brush in there. Try to clean it off. There we go. Got it. Alright, and then on his hand there, or on his wrist, he's got a little, it just looks like a little leather tie wrapped around it or something. He's got one on his other hand, but I think that one looks more like a bracelet, so I'm going to paint that one up the gold, metallic gold. Alright, oh man. Really should use that smaller brush. That's alright though. Get it? Alright, any more brown on this guy? Yes, the handle of his sword should be brown. Go ahead and do that. The whole thing. They'll notice you missed them inside parts. You don't want them to notice that. I'm going to go ahead and hit this little hilt too. That might get some of that gold paint later. Or pommel. Not a hilt, it's a pommel. Up here, this is the hilt. Well, this is the handle. We'll get to the hilt right here. Go ahead and paint it brown, and it'll probably get some of that gold stuff later. I think, from what I've seen, if you paint the brown underneath, and then you do the gold metallic on top of it, it looks more like brass or bronze. So that's what I'm going for. Well, that's what I'm shooting for a little bit later. All right. Any more? Man, I want to hit those rings because those rings are going to be gold. I'll just leave them. I'll just make them gold. I should have done the tongues with the red. It's all right. We'll get them later. All right, this guy's going to have a lot of brown on him, or a lot more brown on him. All right, I'm going to hit this. It's going to get gold, but I'm going to make sure there's an undercoating of brown. This whole bag. Yeah, it's too wet. A little thicker paint on there. Yeah. There we go. I think after I get this painted brown, I want it to look like leather. So I don't want it to just be straight brown. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to overbrush it, I think. Maybe just dry brush it. You know, whatever. Somewhere in between there. With another, like a flesh tone or a pink or something like that. For now, it's just going to be brown. And if that's all the farther we get, that's all the farther we get. It'll be good enough for the table. Alright, now he's got this little bag over here. That guy covered in brown. His belt's going to be black. I'm going to come through with black for that. I want it to kind of contrast a little bit. Because a leather colored belt with a leather colored bag, it's going to kind of muddy together. Don't want that. Well, looks like I got a little bit of that bag above the belt there. I painted red. Needs to come back to brown. All the little seams. Oh, I think I got it. And the book is also going to be brown. I want it to look like it's a leather cover, but I'm going to make it look slightly different than the bag that's right next to it. And I'm going to do that with I'm going to attempt to do that with some of the over brushing and dry brushing later on. Tiny little details. I'm still using the big brush, the number 1. Just being really careful. Make sure I get the inside of the covers too, because I just want only the pages to be white. All right. there, getting there. There we go. A little thicker paint on there. There's not really any details on the face of the book that I might wash out, so I'm not worried about it. As long as I don't have brush strokes. You don't want brush strokes. I got his finger. Alright, let's clean up his finger before it dries. There, boom, done. Got it. Got it in one go. And a little thinner bit for just the inside. Oh man, I'm gonna have to grab this smaller brush. I don't know if you can see it, but just the inside cover of the part of the book that's closer to him. The cover of the book that's closer to him, right here. A little bit. Gotta have some kind of paint on there. There we go. There it is. Not bad, not bad at all. Finish that up. That a little too much. That's okay. We're gonna white out the pages anyway. All right. Anything else? Yep, brown. I got his little boot sticking out here. That's gotta be brown. This base, it looks like, let me see, there you go. See, it looks like stone. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and paint at least like the mortar part of it. Brown. There we go. Get a little bit of that on the back side. There we go. Any more brown on him? Oh, I want to go ahead and paint. I was thinking about this earlier. I'm going to go ahead and paint these ties across his chest. I'm going to paint them brown. And then I'm going to come over them with black when I do black, which I think is going to be next. There you go. That's one. Hell, I might just leave them brown. We'll see what it looks like. Yeah, too much. Made a mess. Right in between these two. Clean it up a little. There we go. And just a little bit more. Make sure they're nice and brown. All right. Yep, a little bit more brown on this guy. He's got his other little boot showing through right here. Make sure that gets browned. All right. Looking good, looking good. Let me look back at this guy one more time. Yeah. not seeing anything else that needs to go brown, but since I got this smaller brush, I'm going to come back to the red. Well, no. I'm going to do black first. Going to use the Abyssal Black Army Painter, D&D branded. A little bit of that on my wet palette. This is definitely going to be this smaller brush. Going to get the brush wet, soak up the excess water, and then get just a little bit of the black on there. And this guy, one of the things I'm going to do the inside of his mouth in black. This is why I changed my mind on the red for the tongues. I'm going to do the skull sockets. Probably have to come back and do those again, because that is going to be white, and then some other stuff to make it look more old. No, I'm going to leave his sword. I was going to do a sword, but I think I'm going to leave it. Alright, this guy's got black. His belt is black. Now make sure we paint over the red convincingly where it doesn't shine through, doesn't create a lump. There we go. Nice. That looks good. No, I need a little bit more. You can kind of see. Fucked it up. Went too far. We've gone too far. I'm just gonna use this guy. It's already clean. Clean that up. Clean that up. There we go. Alright. And I cleaned it up a little too much. Come back with the black on top. Right there. Right there. That's it. That's it. Yeah. I'll get the other one. Other side. My vision is not what it used to be. All right. I'm gonna try to hit his belt. Get a little bit of this in here, in between. Oh, nice. Did it. On this side. Oh, looks good. All right, and the back side of his belt should be a little easier. Just gotta make sure we get just the belt and cover up the red that we overpainted on it. Looks pretty good. Could be a little more crisp there. Let me see if I can back some of that off of there. Clean some of that off of the red up top. I'm not even going to mess with it anymore because the wash should fix that. So come in here, get that belt where it goes around the front. From underneath, that's pretty good. Go ahead and I'm going to hit that crease a little bit. I know the wash is going to fix it, but the wash is going to... Shit. Never mind, I got black on his hand. Let me get that off of there. Alright. I know the wash is going to fill in here with the shading, but I'm gonna help it a little bit, I think. Just a little bit of black. And this bag, I want it to look weathered too, so I think I'm going to water down the black quite a bit and make a wash, more or less. And put some little spots on it. Same with the bag. This bag. Some little spots here and there. I think use some not watered down black and hit the top here just a little bit so it looks a little more realistic. All right, any more black? Oh, I need to do the eye sockets in black. So I get down in there. Boom. Nice, nice, nice. Right down in there. Boom. Oh, good. And this guy, eye sockets in black. Boom, boom. Yeah, yeah. Oh. All right. Nice, 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 nice. Digging it, digging it. These guys are both looking really good, man. All right, any more black? Do a little bit of black in here just to kind of help that wash out a little bit later. It's all going to be mud. I think that's okay. This guy. I'm going to do some little watered down black and kind of go over the brown that I did earlier. Maybe the whole stone's there. Kind of a wash on it. I don't know what I'm doing. Just making it up as I go along. Maybe it'll work out. Pretty good so far. We'll see. Oh, I was going to do these ties in black. Nobody reminded me. It's okay. I got them right now. Use a slightly watered down black. There we go. Man, it's not too bad. I watered it down too much. Let's use a little thicker black on the next one here. All right, all right. Now you can see I got some on the red. Let's see if I can clean it off. Oh, yes, just spread it around. There we go. That should blend in with the wash. There's a little more black on the end of this and this. Not too bad, not too bad. See if I can get this one without making a mess. Cool, I'm gonna roll with it. Gotta remember, time constraint. Alright, I think next we need to do white. I'm gonna use a Lawful White from Army Painter with the D&D brand. I bought a set of these D&D paints, so that's what I'm using. I also bought a set of the Citadel shades. What are they called? Just washes, different color washes. And I'm gonna use some of those. There's some pretty interesting ones in there. All right, gonna stick with the the 4O brush, the tiny one. I got a few other ones. I don't know. Just a big one, a little one. That's all. All right, a little bit of water on the brush. That white paint. Gonna hit the skull. I think I might use that yellow wash on this white skull after I get it painted. that looks. It can't just be white. That's no good. Especially for Lizardfolk. I mean, maybe if it was like in some wizard's collection or something, you know, then it might be white. But on the shoulder of a Lizardfolk, it's probably not too white anymore. I'm not sure what kind of skull this is either. It's got little tiny horns on the forehead and then the big curly horns on the back. Troglodyte, maybe? Half troglodyte, half tiefling? Who knows? Looks cool sitting on his shoulder. That's all. I'm just going to try to do it justice. Probably won't, but I'm going to try. Got it on his shoulder. Oh, that's way too much paint. Oh, I'm bumping the camera again. Sorry about that. Whole under jaw. All the way around the horns. The whole thing. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I'll go with that. And then we got this. Looks like just a spinal cord down here. Is that the tail of the snail? No. Spinal cord. Snail crawling on a spinal cord. Pretty imaginative. Get all that stuff up in the middle, man. They will notice. Might not say anything, but they'll notice. Nice. Kind of reluctant with the constructive criticism at times, but that's okay. There we go. I should probably do his eyeballs. Just gonna get just a little dot of paint on the end there. And just smeared around right inside that hole. Not too bad. Another little dot. Get it all around in there. That's pretty good, I think. I think I got too much on this side. Yeah. Not over bounds. All right. Come back and do a little more in that other one. Right inside there. Okay. It's not great, but it's good enough. It'll be okay. It'll be all right. This guy with red all over his face. Go ahead and do his eyes first. Ooh. It's horrible. And all over his cheekbones. There we go. bad. One more little dot of paint for the other side. Oh, I think I can go with that. Actually, this first side doesn't look very good. I clean a little bit more of that off there. And then come back in with just straight white right in the back, right in the eye. There's some water in there. Shit. Come on, come on, come on. Clean all of it out of there. Clean it all out. Doesn't look good. This guy's face is a mess. Still gonna try one little dot right inside his eye hole. There. See? Got on his cheeks again. I gotta quit messing around with this. Just clean off his cheek. Come on. No, a little more white back in there. Careful, careful, careful. All right, good enough. Close enough. All right, he needs more white on him though. He's not done yet. Need the pages of his book. Thicker paint in there. Completely destroying all the work I did to try to keep the inside covers. It's gonna look like a kindergartner did it. That's all right. Clean that off. See if I can get the inside cover clear. All right. Doesn't look too bad. I did catch the belt buckle, but I think that's just going to be a good highlight to leave on there. I'm okay with that. All right. Okay, anything else on here needs to be white? No, don't think so. So, other highlights or other things. Let's, I think that's all the blocking out that's needed. A little beverage. And, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start toning, or toning, blending, I don't know, whatever. I think, like I said, I wanted to do yellow. I think I'm gonna go with this jungle green first and just do kind of a thin coat over the, you know, the softer skin areas that don't have the scaly hide like the rest of it, you know, like a lizard. So I'm going to go back to the bigger brush, thin down this jungle green a little bit, and we're going to go over, yeah, just the kind of middle part where you'd have some softer skin. The neck, chest, I think that's good. Let me do the inside of his hands too. Just to be kind of consistent with it. I think that's okay. It's actually turned out a little easier and a little better than I thought it was going to. Let me get a little bit up on his face, around his jawline. Seems natural. And neck. Yeah, that's alright. This guy I'm going to kind of do the same thing with. Right down in his neck. A little bit across his cheek. I really got to repaint his face though. Let me do that right now. She's got too much red on it. I don't know if you can see his little snout. There's too much red in there. I didn't get it all off. So come back to that other green we were using. It's like it's all dried up. Green skin. Shake. I don't know why it dried on my palette like that. Doesn't seem right. On the wet palette? I don't know. Alright, messing something up. It's okay. Go back and re-green his face. There we go. That's looking better. Less blood covered. Get that red on his jaw there too. That's no good. Didn't notice that. Just a tiny bit of paint there. There we go. Alright, that's better. Alright, so we're going to come back, and I think this lighter green is definitely the jungle green. He's definitely going to get his palm done in it. Maybe even a little bit up underneath his arm. Definitely that little red spot. Fuck. How do I get so much red everywhere? Without noticing. Alright. Come back to the green skin to cover the red. I don't think his other arm needs it. Maybe I'll put a little bit. Just a little bit. Up underneath here. There we go. Alright, that's not looking too bad. Kind of plain, but that's alright. We'll get there. Alright, same here. Not too. That skull actually looks better than I thought it would. I think I'm going to do a little bit more with the jungle green, the lighter green. And through here, through this area. So it's not sticking out as much as I wanted. It's alright. Maybe I'll use some of this to kind of overbrush a little bit. Yeah, a little too wet yet. It's alright. Little highlights here and there, maybe. We should do our washes first before we start doing all the highlighting. I think we're probably just about ready to start washing. I got that Citadel wash set, so I'm kind of excited to start using it. That wasn't really a question, that's just how it came out. Because I'm really curious to see what some of these colored washes do. So let me get a little bigger, different brush. This guy, I think this guy is what I'm going to use. It's a 1, but it's flat. I'll move these dudes. It's flat. Maybe you can see there, flat. So the first one I want to use is Bell Tan Green, and I'm going to run that over their skin and just see how it turns out. And you can see it pop open. There we go. So Bell Tan Green, I'm actually going to get my brush a little wet first and then dry it out just to make sure that everything's all lubied up. Bell Tan Green, Beal Tan Green. Alright. It's not too bad looking. I don't know, with some of these colored washes, I might do another wash, just like a dark wash or something. Dark tone. I don't know. See how they work. Whatever. That little kit came with a bunch of different colors. 8 of them up there. That was pretty neat. I don't expect to use but maybe 1 or 2 of them a lot. But it's nice to have the other ones, especially when you have dudes as muscular as this guy. You're doing all the accenting you can. All that you can get. Oh yeah. It's pretty cool actually. I'm kind of liking that. Hopefully my players like it. My fellow gamers. We had one of our gamers, we kind of switch off a little bit, DMing. And the gamer that was DMing was, we hit a big milestone in that campaign, so she wanted me to take over for a couple of weeks, so we switched back to Saltmarsh. I've been doing all kinds of crafting stuff, and then when I came back to actually start planning what we were going to do tonight, there's a bunch of other stuff I wanted to do. And one of them was I wanted some, standout NPCs for the Lizardfolk encounters. So I got these guys. Actually, I made a boat last night while these guys were printing. So I had an idea for another encounter to, further the plot and whatnot. Ridiculous. Way too involved. Way too obsessed. But no, that's okay. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for them too. Hopefully they like all this stuff. Hopefully it improves the game, the experience of the game for them. I know that it's already improved it for me, just thinking about it. Like this guy right here wasn't even planned as an NPC until I found the model on Miniverse or Thingiverse. Miniverse. And then I wanted to print him because that's a cool model. So I wanted to print him out and paint him. And then I got to thinking about it and got to thinking of ways to put him in the campaign as an NPC. A couple of different ways. We'll see how things go down tonight. I'm going to go ahead and hit this grass with this Beal-tan green. Yep. Got his little loincloth there. That's all right. That's okay. Not super dark or anything. I think I'll probably use one of the other ones on him too. See how it looks on this guy. He doesn't have nearly the minute detail in his skin that the other guy has. Most of his details on his cloak. He's got some decent detail on his face too. Make sure we get those seams good. Alright, it's kind of glossy. Well, it is wet. Let's see what it looks like when it dries. Alright, get his face. I think I can do it with this brush. Make sure I get his neck without getting it all over the red. Alright, that did it. Alright, there we go. That's okay. I really need to see what it looks like when it dries. Alright, I'm gonna wash that out. There was also one for red, if I can find it. There it is. Carroburg Crimson. We'll see. Give it a shake. It's also brand new. Crack it open. Ooh, that's like a purple. Let's see what happens. We'll just wash that on the red parts. Ooh. This might actually make me happy. What washes usually do, they're magic paints. Ooh, look at all them details popping out. Just pow, 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 all over the place. Pow, pow, pow. Oh, yeah. I think I'm actually gonna keep this guy vertical, horizontal. While that dries, so it doesn't all run down. I might do the same with this guy. Start at the top. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, this is nice. Pretty neat. I never used any different colored washes. Just like a black and a brown. This thing's pretty neat though. Seems to be working out pretty good. And it's a wash, so I don't have to be super careful getting it in the seams, all the little corners. See just going to get dark in there and hide everything. And just go ahead and go over the black with it. Probably don't want to get it on the pages of the book. I'm going to try one of the other shades. I think the yellow shade maybe on that book. Like with the skull. We'll see when we get there. These are going to have to dry though. Before we move on. Oh, that's a lot. Spread her out, spread her out. There we go. Man, this is really taking on some character with these washes. I like them a lot. Alright, back to this guy. It still isn't dry yet, so we're gonna give them a few minutes. You can time travel and we'll see you back. Okay, I think everything's dry now. The next wash I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna use the yellow one. I've got yellow, what is it, Cassandora yellow. Give it a shake. Pop it open. And the yellow I'm gonna use on him, on his book, just on the pages. Since it's not going to be a brand new book. And tone them down a little bit. Can't get that corner very well. Yes, it is a wash. Oh well. That's good. Good enough. And I'm going to hit the skull with it. Hopefully it'll come out looking aged. I might come back with a brown, like a Agrax Earth shade, I think. There we go. Not too bad. Oh yeah, more skull-like for sure. And this little spinal cord that's laying down here in the muck. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely not finished for those. Put that away. Well, no, you know what I'm going to do? Keep saying I'm going to do yellow on his belly. So, I'm just going to kind of lightly go over it. You know, not use it like you would a wash. Kind of over brushing with it. There we go. That lightened it up a lot. Look at that. Hopefully it dries that way. The palm of his hand. Does same to this guy. His palm at least. There we go. That's looking good. Looking good. More yellow. I want it to be more yellow, but I think I'm going to dry brush it in. Alright. Oh, let's go ahead and do the body of the snail while we're at it. I got a little flesh tone I'm going to hit that with. Probably should have done that already. Let's go back and do that. it's really flesh tone or not, but it's this flump pink. That'll be a good snail color. Some of that on the palette. And well, a teeny tiny brush. Just a tiny bit of paint on there. There we go. He's pretty wet from that wash still, but I'll get some paint on him. His little eye stalks. Man, I don't want to paint at all. They're super tiny. There we go. Might be kind of gloopy. I can't even hardly see this at all. Maybe you can. I don't know. Can you see the little snail on there? I'm trying to get that guy painted up. It's not easy. I got half the rock underneath him. It's alright. That'll do for now. Alright, what do we need to do next? There's some browns there. The browns, I'm going to use the Agrax Earthshade, which I have used before, so it's not brand new. I get all the browns, the leathery stuff. And if it's kind of sloppy, I think that'll be okay. Make it look older. There you go. I'm also going to hit this book. I think I'm going to hit the pages of the book as well. Make them look even more worn out. Yeah. I don't like the way it's making the bright edge stick out. That's okay. I can take care of that. Probably going a little nuts with all this since I have a time constraint, but that's all right. We'll hit all these little details, try to get everything done best we can. I'm not liking that at all. You can fix it though. It can be fixed. And make sure we get it all in all the crevices. That's the most important thing with the wash, isn't it? Here we go. That's not bad. All right. And his little boot. Both of them. I think both of them are sticking out. Just a little bit over here. There we go. Alright. See what we need to do over here. I think he's got a lot of his base that needs this. So I'm going to go ahead and move back to... Oh, you know what? Before I do that, Go ahead and hit the skull up a little bit. Oh, my printer's done. I was looking at it earlier. I had a couple of them fail. I had 6 of them on there. That's probably where I went wrong. Trying to do too much at once. There. Yeah. These horns too. Yeah, look good. Digging that. Go ahead and get his sword. Think about this brush. A lot of people use a bunch of different brushes. I don't know, man. I'm not using very many. I'm going wrong. But maybe not. I don't know. Whatever. I'll do it the way I want to for now. We'll learn a little bit as we go. Wristband. Oh, man. He's looking good. Oh, better hit up this. Man, that looks straight yellow now. Get a lot on there. This little spinal cord. That's where I was going to switch. So I'm going to do a lot of this base too. It's got that wood under there, and I think that wood will really need some of this brown wash to kind of pop more. Actually start looking like wood. Not bad. Not looking bad. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, he's looking good, dude. Yeah. I think I'm going to actually hit the rest of his body with another wash. Don't think I'm going to use the Agrax. It's a little brown. I think I'm going to just go ahead with, well, got this dark tone. I was going to use that. But I really want to try this Null Oil. I haven't tried it yet. It's one of the ones everybody uses, so it's really black. I don't know, maybe I'll just try to, I don't want this brush. I want the flat brush. I'm going to grab this little brush. Maybe I'll just try to paint it into some of the corners there, instead of toning everything down. Okay. See what happens when I go over everything. Oh, that's fine. I haven't painted them details yet on his chest. Yeah, I think this is going to be all right. Hopefully I got time to do some highlights. I'm not sure what time it is, but it's been a couple hours. I'm trying to keep it out of his eye. Yeah, see, this definitely needs some more wash back here. All that muscle tone, and try to accentuate it as much as possible. With the time allotted, I think I'm probably just going to end up dry brushing him I'd like to, I mean, he'd be the, I'd like to try highlighting. Maybe I'll print him out another one. Print out another one of him. And then just take my time. Yeah, this stuff's looking good. No wonder everybody uses it. And I'm going to try it on his PJs here, his loincloth. I think I kind of did that backwards. That's what I'm thinking. I should have done the base coat of red first, then washed it with this, highlighted it, then washed it with the red. Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. Maybe I'll try that next time. This model is definitely worth a reprint and done more justice to. I mean, it doesn't look bad right now, but kind of feel like I failed. Gotta get the back side. They're gonna notice. So many wrinkles in this thing. All right. Looking pretty good. I'm going to do a little bit of the skull. Definitely get them horns. Top side around the skull probably needs quite a bit. Make sure we get that distinction. All right. This little wristband. There we go. Sweet. Hey, look pretty good. Could be better. It's all right though. I'm liking it. Liking it. No more in here. Yeah, I didn't get this very well. So much muscle tone in his legs there. Yeah. Oh yeah. I got a little red on him. Oh well. And if I got time, I'll come back and fix it. But it's not looking good time-wise right now. I think it's about 3:30. Jeez. I'm going to move on. All right. We'll see what it looks like when it dries. Go ahead and null oil this guy up. Definitely around the face. That hood is. That's good. Man, covers up mistakes pretty good and everything. He outlines the creases. Punch down in his neck there. There we go. Hopefully that'll dry up pretty cool. Oh, just messed it up. There we go. I don't want it to be all sloppy. Kind of sloppy in there. Get some of that out of there. I don't really care if the book looks sloppy, but his hand shouldn't look sloppy. Looks like we're just going to slather this all over everything. So switch to the flat tip brush. Home oil for everyone. That's all right. That's looking pretty good. Much. All right. Let them dry, and then we'll come back and try some dry brushing. All right, I don't have a lot of time left, so I'm going to move on to dry brushing. Sort of. Maybe overbrushing is probably a better term. We'll start with the red. I'm just going to use that same Dragonfire red we have been using. Get some paint on the brush. Get most of it off. And just try to highlight the highlights. Not exactly dry brushing because my brush was wet to begin with. And it's really not doing anything at all. So I think what I'm going to do, I'll move to a different brush. A little bigger brush. This is a dollar store brush. It's pretty beat up. But I'll just take it into the red. See what I can do with it. Need to get these guys finished. It's really not doing anything. Maybe I'll mix just a touch of white in there with the red. A nice pink color. Make sure there's not too much on the brush. Don't think we're having any effect at all. Maybe try to get a little more on the brush. think maybe I will mix a little bit more of this up. Make sure there's not too much. Just do from the top. Try to get those highlighting from the sun kind of effect. And it's not looking very good. It's all right. It's not too bad, I guess. Getting brush strokes from this crappy dollar store brush. That's okay. It is putting highlights in there more or less how I want them. So I think it's going to be all right. Not sure if the camera's going to pick that up or not, but it's popping out a little bit better. Mix up a little more paint. And a little on the whiter side. There we go. Getting there. A little extra brush strokes. This crappy brush. I really don't have time to source a new one or anything. Alright, good enough for him. Do some dry brush highlighting on this guy. On the red. For the red, we're going to dry brush the other stuff with their own colors. And then we'll come back in and do those gold and silver details. Oh, and his sword too. Jeez, so much left to do. All right, I think I'm just gonna use this on his little leather bracelet. Close enough. All right, probably shouldn't have got that wet. That's all right. We'll get all the red out of there. Dry it off as best we can so we can soak some of that out of there. And then I think for the most of the green skin, I'm going to come back to this jungle green, which I still have on the palette. Pull some of that up, work it into the brush real good. And then see if we can just highlight with it. Just a little. Liking it. This is for the dark green areas. For the light green areas, I'm going to grab that yellow, like I said at the beginning. Yeah, I need a little more paint. And my wife's in here to give me a kiss.
Stripes in there. I am.
Stripes, not really. I'm dry brushing, so I'm trying to get the highlights in.
Oh, I just saw stripes on the other guy.
Oh, that's not stripes. It's just the
highlights
and the wrinkles.
Stripes.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Looks good.
But I'm about to watch Margot Robbie try to eat some hot wings.
Oh yeah.
So
all right.
I'll fill you in
Have
on
a good
how
time.
Australians handle hot wings.
Oh yeah. All right.
Was there another Australian? I feel like there have been more Australians.
Probably.
But I can't remember off the top of my head. Rebel Wilson ain't been on here, so clearly.
Yeah, she's been drinking. That's okay. I have to. Not that much, but I got a game to run tonight. I got way too much in there, and it's too dry. Let's see if I can go over it without muddling too much, and of course it's complete crap looking now. Shit. See what happens when you get distracted. That's okay. I love her. She's my wife. Alright. Come back and try to dry brush. Again with my now wet brush. That one spot under the leg. Not gonna work out for me. Go ahead and dry brush some of this grass too. It needs some flavor. I was gonna try to make it a little different flavor than the lizard skin, but time constraints. All right, that's not too bad. All right, since we're still working the green, I'll work a little bit more of that green back in the brush. And we'll go ahead and highlight this guy's green stuff. His face mostly. And the rest of him. Need more paint. There we go. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad. I need a little bit, kind of get a little bit right up in there on that deltoid. There we go. Yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. I come back here. When I did the red, I dry brushed over the black, which was not a good idea. Just gonna make those a little blacker. All right, try to at least. Well, I think I did more harm than good there. It's all right. The rest of it's looking pretty good. And now we are going to go with that yellow I've been talking about, angelic yellow. I don't think of yellow when I think of angels, but at least they did something. They didn't just call it yellow. All right, make sure this dry brush is nice and dry. Pick up some of that yellow. Work it in there. Make sure it's not too much. And bam. Hit the soft spots. And his hand. Palm of his hand. Should get a little more yellow. I'm not going to try to do his neck. I'll do his neck though, for sure. Maybe just the inside a little bit. Doesn't need to be too much. I think it's pretty good there. Maybe do a little bit more. Okay, who cares? Whatever. I'll just throw it around. Might as well. It's on the brush. Screw it. It's not going to hurt too much. Too bad. All right. I think that turned out really well there on his belly being a little different color. That's pretty good, man. Wet blending, I think, could be the only way to do that a little better. Maybe take my time. As if I would ever do such a thing. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with it, man. To be honest, maybe just a little. I don't want it really yellow. That lighter green. Come back to that lighter green. I don't think I really got this arm. There we go. That's better. All right. Get all the greens and yellows out of it. Out of the brush. I don't think he needs much else. Take that back. I'm going to come back and I'm going to get just a little bit of white. Hit these stones. Oh, that's too much. Way too much. There we go. Hit these stones a little bit. I painted these gray while the camera was off at one point. But I think they need a little bit of white on them. I kind of fucked that up. That's okay. They'll be okay. I'll come back just a little bit of white again on the skull. Make sure it's got some highlights going on. There we go. And if we're doing the skull, might as well hit the spinal cord down the bottom. A little bit on the snail, just cause. And I'm going to hit the wood just a little bit. If there's anything left going on the brush, might as well hit the grass. It's just highlights. Shouldn't hurt anything. All right. Let's see, what else was I going to do to these? Oh, they definitely, I need to do, let me point them out. Let's see if I can point it out. On his chest, he's got a chain, 2 gold rings. He's also got these little clasps. For the gold, I'm going to use this stuff because that's the only gold paint I have. It's gold metallic. It's the smallest brush I can with a little water. I hope it works. The other guy's got some of that going on too, so. I really don't want to use too much water on that. Oh, bam. These rings, though. So small. Man. I think I got him. I think I got him. All right. And then he's got another little clasp here. Needs to be gold. This bit of jewelry he's got on here. I want to make that gold. I think that worked out pretty good, dude. I'm liking that. Alright, let's hit the gold on this guy, and then we'll come back to a little bit of silver and make sure we get his sword worked up. This belt buckle is going to be gold. That might be the only gold he has on him. Let's do this clasp, just a little bit on the clasp there. Looking for a bronze kind of color. Right? Make sure we got all the gold on him that we need. I think that'll work. Before I do those chains, because he's got one chain on his chest, and then he's got another one coming down here on his side. those are going to be silver. Since I'm going for the silver, I'm going to go ahead. I want to get this sword nice. I don't know if I want to do gray or black. Well, let's go with black. Oh, since we're at the sword, I forgot I was going to do watered down gold over the brown on the pommel. Just the little pommel there. And then on the hilt. This is supposed to make it look like it's brass or bronze or whatever. So we will see when it dries. You know, if it's gold, it's gold. Who cares? Alright, so I'm going to take the flat brush that I was using earlier, make sure it's nice and clean, a little watered down in the black that I have left on my palette still. And go over the sword. Doesn't have to be great, because it's just gray underneath. So. Or black with white speckles. Alright. Sword. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Alright, yeah, I'll let it dry for a second. Alright, that's all the time we get. I'm going to come back and get some gray. This is actually just gray primer. That's all I had. And then, yeah, a little, get it watered down, and then just kind of hook it up. And I'm going to dry this brush off when I'm done. And yeah, dry this off and pull some of that excess off because it had way too much water in it. But I think that's going to look okay. Clean the brush, let it dry, blow on it, dry, dry, dry. Should get the wife's hairdryer out. No. I'm strapped for time, but I'm not that strapped. Alright, so to make that thing sparkle, I've got some mithril silver. Ooh. I'm going to try to edge highlight it. Maybe feather it, I think is what they call that. We'll see. We'll see. Definitely using the smallest brush. Make sure it's nice and clean. It's not dry yet. Alright, just use just a hair of silver. Just on the edge. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not. Just hitting the edge. Bring it up on the other side too, since it's nice and sharp on both sides. It's got them little spikies on there. I'm going to try to make those look sharp too. Alright, so now that I got the edge done, I'm going to try to feather, which I think goes from like the inside of the weapon, sword in this case, toward the edge, just along the actual bevel. And I'm not liking it. It's all right. I'll just go ahead and keep going. If nothing else, the whole sword will be mithril silver colored. No, we're not going to do that. Let me see if I can erase or brush the... There we go. I can actually erase pretty well. Try to keep going on this. Just getting the bevel there. Nope. I don't think I'm going to be prepped very well today, at least not the paper part. I'm running way over. It's like 5 o'clock already. All right, come on, finish the edge, we'll call it done. A little more of the edge on the top. Still gotta do the other side. And his chains. Fuck, I gotta do his chains. It's alright, we're getting there. Don't want to rush too much. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. Even if there's a time crunch. Alright, other side. Just gonna paint the bevel. I'm not gonna try the feathering or any of that. Just gonna try to paint the bevel silver. Not the greatest thing. It'll do. All right, close enough. Let's see what it looks like over here in regular light. Looks like a kindergartner did it. So I'm gonna come back to the gray, and I'm actually gonna fill the middle with gray. Kind of a light coating of gray. That's just to hide those spaces, those little places that I overpainted. I think that's gonna look okay. Like I said, I'm not gonna win any awards. All right, last thing I gotta, well, not the last thing, but I gotta do these chains. Should pull my magnifying glass out for these. See if I can get them without it. Bling! Hell yeah, that just popped it right out. I'll try the one on his leg. I better get some paint on the brush. See, that's way too much. Way too much. Eraser brush, eraser brush. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Erase. Better dry it too. Here, this guy's dry. Alright, paint. Can't have silver all over his leg. That's just nonsense. Okay, I think that did it. Man, the one on his chest looks really good. Let's see if I can get the camera to pick it up. See, that looks really good. That one's okay. On his leg, he's still got some silver on his leg, but don't have time to go back after that. Sword looks pretty good. Base is not good. Need the sterling mud in the base. Oh, man. Tragic, tragic, tragic. I knew I'd take too much time. That's okay. It's alright. It's alright. I'll be okay. I might have to wait a minute while I look stuff up. Hate to do that to him. Alright, yeah. The Citadel Technical Sterling Mud. And I just wanted to fill these little gaps in between that board and the edge of the base. Carefully. Carefully means time consuming. Not necessarily, though. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. If you take your time, do it right the first time, you don't have to come fix your mistakes because you rushed. I don't know, man. I'm just making stuff up trying to get this thing done. I got a little bit of the support right there. Oh, almost out of video. So I'm just going to finish this up and put a black around the base and that'll do it. I'll be back to show you guys the finished product. There's a little flyby of these guys in action. Opening the blood portal on my swamp terrain while the bullywugs attempt to stop them. I don't think he's going to be stopped though. Well, so there you have it. That's my struggle to get these guys painted up in that short amount of time. My first experience with trying to speed paint. I think it went really well. I think they turned out really well, especially being such a noob at it. And I'll tell you, when I pulled that barbarian out in our game and I set him on the table, and the tone of the game totally changed, and that really enhanced our gaming experience, and that's what it's all about. So I think we can call this a successful craft, and a successful craft deserves a successful craft beer. Still drinking the Bon Femmes, pretty good. They used honey. I'm enjoying them, and they're available like just down the street at the gas station, which is nice. Cheers. So if you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up on this video, and I'm going to be doing more painting and crafting down the road. So if you want to see some of that, please subscribe and hit the bell. And for now, I've got a whole mess of pirates. to paint, which means I get to try batch painting, which hopefully you guys will see.